Let's take a look on our last goal, which is FI. Make user your promoters. Whether the product is good enough to motivate me to become one of its promoters. As well as know, users are the best spokesman of your products. Companies may seek help from all kinds of resources to promote their products. Famous blogger, web celebrity, however, none of them is as powerful as user. You may ask, why does product promotion have something to do with designers? If UX designer can build a relationship between the users and potential users, for example, put a sharing on Twitter button on the right place, there might be more people who join me. This is a method of most basic level. If a designer set the above four users experience goal when designing a product, he could be an excellent designer. The last goal, as far as I can see, is the inherent property of an excellent design to mobilize its users. For another example, user needs to cooperate with others when using the product like game products. In short, to mobilize your user and make them your promoters is also an important user experience goals the good UX designer should set. Next, move on to behaviors. User behavior refers to the way user interact with a particular product. To complete understand the reason behind what drives user to certain behaviors, we need to look at the psychology of user himself. We can create the great user experience only when we understand the user motivation that guides the action. To analyze user behaviors, you need to set up various user metrics to measure usability and intuitive design. There are countless user metrics you can monitor and analyze, such as clicks, navigation, session length, and conversion rate. Human behaviors flows from three main sources: desires, emotions, and knowledge. User behavior, for example, let's say that your conversion rate for this month is 30% higher than it was the previous month. How can we find out the reason for such a drastic improvement? You can take a lucky guess. You can look at yourself or your user behaviors for the past 2 months and compare how their interaction with your product have changed over this period of time. The user needs to be motivated to buy the product. We see that there is the desire in the user to buy a product, but there was not enough motivation, ability, or correct trigger to complete the purchase. Next, we can motivate user by numerous ways possible. One of them is to give visitors some discount. Simple reward or heartwarming microtext. The user will be happier, hence we satisfied the emotions. Source of behaviors. We also must make sure that there is correctly aligned trigger to our motivational strategy and that the user has the needed knowledge of motivational benefits. Understand user behaviors is key to finding out how users interact with your product. Specifically, how much time do they spend using it? What do they click on the most? At what point is the user journey to do decide to bounce? Analyze your user behaviors will answer such questions and help you continuously refine your product. Next, the DG behavior model describes these behaviors sources, desire, emotion, and knowledge as motivational of user and how they are interlinked with environmental influences like the ability of the user itself to make the purchase and that the user behaviors can be manipulated with correctly placed trigger on the website. Understanding user behavior is the foundation of building a great product and an indicator of good company organization. Not only those, it provides valuable insights about your product, but it also gives you a competitive edge, increases customer relation rates, ensure that you meet customer needs, and take the guesswork out of UX design. Next, we'll see here how the fog behavior model looks like. So this is a diagram. By using the fog behavior model, it is B is equal to math from high motivation to low motivation, hard to do and easy to do. Let's see the steps of a behaviors. What are they? Here are 7 essential steps to understand users' behaviors and developing a functional, intuitive product. Let's see what are the 7 steps. Seeking out deliberate, purposeful action, discover habitual patterns, map insight onto the user journey, fine-tune user benefits, use automation tools, iterate, don't assume, check. Next, let's see how user behavior models help to design better UX. With behavior model, we can find out what was missing in the process and how can we improve it. The best way to improve user experience is to create multiple A/B tests with different improvements that will safety every scenario and parallel check conversion of user process on the website. With analytic data of A/B test, we can then make a much more rational decision which is based on the real data. Let's see what is context. The user context is the data that specifically assigned to as to an SAP users. SAP stands for System Application Products in data processing. The user context contains a user-specific area containing user and authorizing data and a section context for each external session. There is technical term E-mode. The following figure shows the structure of a user context. The problem is that when we think of context, we are often thinking about location. We are thinking about a user who is accessing your product on a train versus somebody sitting on a couch at home. It's so easy to make assumptions when it comes to context. This can be dangerous because it can lead to inappropriate design and context. Context of use is about understanding and responding to actual conditions you under which a given artifact or software product is used. A perfect example of this assumption can be found with regards to device usage. It is easy to assume that because somebody is using a mobile device, they are out and about. We may think that because of their location, we can de-emphasize or remove some context or content from their experience. We may presume that user will be more interested in contact information because they are on the move. In design, the products we create depend on the intent and situation that required us to approach the problem in a certain way. Who are our users? What is their situation, needs, wants, and goals? For example, each of us of a medical device may not be significant when a doctor uses it in a clinical setting, but it can become significant if a home care support worker uses the same device at a patient's home. If we want to make sure our designs are understood across a wide audience of people as well as our fellow teammates, we need context and to communicate expectations around what we want people to see. People want to see the bigger picture. Yes, communicating idea to non-designers is crucial in order for your idea to be understood and applied to a world filled with implications or ramifications. Behind every design decision you make, giving context can avoid unnecessary questions, so the focus can be on the idea and its value. Focus on real life application and align the way you communicate your design with your audience. That way they can relate to it and realize the impact your design is trying to convey without getting distracted by arbitrary details. Don't use design jargon, use everyday speech. The kind of language we use makes concept accessible, applicable, and easy to understand. There is less confusion, more focused convergence, and you can move forward. Humanize the experience because we often forget we are designing for people. For example, I could refer to the people I was designing for and either accounts and small business owner. If you think about it, this sounds less human or less relatable to majority of people who are not accountants or the latter. When formed designing my design to telling a story, I introduce people by their role and name. As a result, people were immediately able to understand my design because names were a way to humanize the idea by making it clear that I was designing for real people. Often times we forgot that the people we present our design to are human too. Instead of explaining concepts that are rooted in design language, ground your concept in an actual scenario that is centered around how an user reaches the goal and address their problem with the product. Next, understand across everyone and everything. Context allows us to understand situation faster, one, which can lead to solution, call people to action quicker, and gives more time for other things. Ideas can die on the table if you cannot explain them well. Context is that ground your idea in reality and makes seemingly nebulous problems tangible. When you create the circumstance that foster understanding or curiosity, it gets an invented. No context makes idea confused and frustrating to people that don't have time or patience to understand, especially to people in higher positions, whether their decision matters. An example is when people tell stories. The most interesting stories start with a bold statement or hook that leads us to understanding the message that flows. In designing presentation, set the tone for the product or idea you are going to present. The difference between idea is giving context around the problem, how it will exist, addressing a need, and creating impact. Anyone can come with ideas. It's all about execution and story, a context building. Let's conclude of the topic. As a designer, your main aim is to help people understand the world better. Taking user goal into account will impact decisions along all steps of designing and information visualization. User goal. Users enjoy the satisfaction of achieving their goals. Goals are defined as the state of affairs that a plan is intended to achieve. Goals are what a person wants to do, achieve, or become. They are boundaries to states that people strive towards, and once they reach, either terminate their efforts or shift into a maintenance or of the achieved status. Feeling smart, getting the best deal, and living the good life are all examples of goals. They respect a desired end state of a set of particular actions. Motivationals are the drivers behind setting and pursuing goal. Motivation is why someone wants to do something. User goal helps us focus our decision on solving meaningful problem for the user. If we design with the user goals in mind, in the best case, we will help them achieve their goals. At worst, we stand out of the way. User behaviors. Understanding user behaviors is key to finding out how users interact with your product, especially how much time do they need using it. What do they click on the most? At what point in the user journey do they deciding to bounce? Analyzing your user's behavior will answer such question and help you continuously define your product. Context is an important to give context to everything. It allows people to understand what you are talking before going into the details. Context allows us to be clear with understanding and scoping the problem we are trying to solve, as well as making sure we are communicating the right thing to the right audience. It shapes the meaning in an all communication. Without context, you cannot communicate effectively. When your message is delivered in our context but received in another, it like lead to miscommunication. So this is all about a conclusion of your entire course. So I hope you had enjoyed the journey of goal, user behavior, and context in this lesson.